Some of the most important dishes in Antique are not found in restaurants. They are cooked quietly inside homes, using ingredients gathered from rivers, forests, and nearby fields. Yet for generations, families here have continued cooking them because they are part of everyday life. The province sits between the mountains of Panay's interior and the waters of the Sulu Sea, a geography that shapes what ends up on the table. Rivers that run through the province provide shrimp and freshwater shells that many families still gather by hand. Around homes and small gardens, backyard trees and root crops like cassava offer ingredients that can be harvested and cooked the same day. Over time, these practices shape the food of Antique, dishes that reflect both the environment and the resourcefulness of the people who cook them. Prepared in everyday kitchens and shared among families and neighbors, these dishes continue to endure, passed from one generation to the next through the simple act of cooking. In many parts of Antique, the river remains an important source of food. Freshwater shells, known locally as awis, can still be found along the riverbanks, gathered by hand by families who have long relied on the water for their meals.
Dito sa ilog ng Santo Rosario. Yung suso, awes. Madalas yan niluluto gawing pilutan, ginigisa, or niluluto lang sa parang linapuhan lang ba.
While Nanay Maymay prepares the ingredients at home, her husband and sister-in-law head to the river to gather awis. The process is simple but requires patience. They feel along the riverbed with their hands, searching beneath the water until they find the shells and pull them out. To stay underwater longer, they sometimes place a rock against their necks for weight, allowing them to reach deeper into the riverbed. Nanay Maymay's husband, Alfredo Bellarmino, also sells the awis they gather, making the river not only a source of food, but also a small source of livelihood for the family.
Isa siyang sapa, no? Pero yung tubig hindi pa naabot ng tubig dagat. Nagsasubmerge na siya nag-infiltrate lang siya sa lupa. Ngayon, yung tubig doon hindi masyado contaminated na salt water. At saka yun ang kailangan ng awis na medyo maalat-alat pero hindi din masyadong maalat. Brackish water conducive para sa awis na mabuhay. Aside sa food source, yung mga awis kasi madaling makuha. At saka yung mga tao pag gusto nila na walang pabili ng ulam, kailangan mo lang ng tiyaga at sipag na pumunta doon, manguha ka. Pero at least libre yung ulam, libre yung pagkain ng pamilya.
Once the awis are gathered, they are washed well to remove any dirt from the river. The small tip, or nguso, is trimmed before the shells are set aside and cooked the next day. To prepare ginataang awis, Nanay Maymay starts by heating a pan with water. She slices the ingredients and adds them one by one: sibuyas, kamatis, and kalabasa. Next, she adds the awis, letting the shells cook together with the vegetables. Then come the remaining greens, sitaw and dahon ng malunggay. Finally, she pours in the gata and adds tanglad, letting everything simmer into a warm coconut stew. For Nanay Maymay, ginataang awis has long been a familiar dish at home, one that her children still look for whenever they come back to visit.
Ay, lalo pa yung anak kong nag-aaral, sabi niya, isang buwan, isang bisis lang mag-uwi. Sabi niya, ma, may awis? Sabi niya, ma, luto ka ng awis? Sabi niya ganun, nahidlaw rin kuman ng awis, sabi niya ganun.
Over time, gathering awis from the river has become a tradition for many families in Antique, a simple way of finding something to cook and bring to the table. It's a practice that has been passed down through generations, shaped by the river that continues to provide for the community.
Kahit anong araw, kahit anong oras, basta gusto mong mamulot na wala kang ulam, ay di, punta tayo sa ilog, mamulot tayo ng awis para pagdating sa bahay, di, magluto at magkain.
Across Antique, many traditional dishes continue to be prepared quietly inside homes. In Patria, Pandan, one of these dishes is binabak, a recipe Nanay Alita has been cooking for decades. Binabak is a dish made from shrimp, freshly grated coconut, and local ingredients like ginger, garlic, and batuan. The mixture is carefully prepared, wrapped in banana leaves, and cooked until the flavors come together.
Mula nung 15 years old po ako, tumutulong na ako sa nanay ko. Kaya natuto na po ako magluto ng binabak. Marami pong bumibili sa akin ng binabak, lalo na yung mga balikbayan, mula sa iba't ibang lugar, nag-order po sila sa akin kasi namimiss nila yung binabak.
Years of making binabak have turned the recipe into a familiar routine in Nanay Alita's kitchen, one she continues to prepare the same way she was taught.
Ang lasa po ng binabak ay masarap siya, tapos medyo may asim. Binabalatan ko muna yung shrimp, tapos inihiwalay yung laman sa balat. Pagkatapos niyan, nagkakayod ako ng nyog. Yung ingredients po niya ay sibuyas, luya, bawang, batuan. Imimix na doon yung nyog. Tapos yung mga ingredients na bawang, sibuyas, ahos, saka batuan, imimix na po yan sila lahat. Kailangan ingatan yung balat, yan. Wag mo ikalat-kalat yan. Haluin. Lagyan ng paminta. Yun lang, tapos pagkatapos ng mahalo-halo na, balutin na ng dahon ng saging. Pagkatapos, lutuin na within 25 minutes. Yung anak ko po ay 8. 2 beses po ako nanganak ng kambal. Tinuturuan ko po sila pero isa lang ang natuto. Yung isang kambal lang na bunso. Yung nag-aaral ng HM. Si Bon, gusto niya patuloy niya yung ginagawa kong binabak. Siya daw ang magmamana. Natuwa po ako dahil mayroon magmamana sa mga niluluto ko. Para kahit papano maalala ka rin nila.
For Nanay Alita, making binabak is more than just cooking. It's a recipe tied closely to the memories of her mother.
Naalala ko yung nanay ko. Pag gumagawa po kami ng binabak, parati akong sinasabihan na kailangan matuto ka. Kasi pag nawala na ako, kailangan mayroon magmana.
For Nanay Alita, the recipe is not only a memory of family, but also a part of the tradition that many households in Antique still keep alive.
Kasi po, importante talaga yung binabak sa tradisyon namin dito sa Antique. Lalo na dito sa Patria. Galing po ito sa mga ninuno, tapos kailangan importante talaga na mapatuloy ang ganitong recipe.
In another part of the province, another traditional dish continues to be prepared, one that requires time, patience, and plenty of hard work. Piking. In Lacaron, Nanay Yoli makes piking, a snack made from cassava, coconut milk, and sugar. Despite its popularity, making piking is not simple. Preparing it requires several steps, many of which begin long before the cooking even starts.
Wala lang, ang amo na ra, ang piking ng kamuti lang, hindi mo na padakot sa dahon. Tapos diyan ka rin, ang ipadakot mo yan, kalamay lang ano lang gani, ang niyog. Laan, gata. Laan, tibap. Yung mga 35 guro akin nga edad. Tapos, nagasunod ako sa nanay ko, katurok, amo to ka naman ko. Kaya mo rin to, sige-sige, nga imo akin, asarang gid nga, nagamaligya man ako. Na ano lang, daw yung merinda. Merinda nanda. Bakal sanda ka, ako bakal, mga mistro ka, mga doktor, gani ka. Kaya nasadlan mo na mga ako nagabakal ka riyan. Daw, daw kilala, giblang piking, isang kadangat sa mga norte, mga kundiin. Ayun, amo riyan ang kapiking. Una ka riyan, ginang panahon, ginaano ra sa may kasal, balda. Mama mo interview.
Lakaron.
Taga-Lakaron po talaga kayo.
Ako, pulo na ra. 3 ka bilog para. 3 ka panid para ang salad kang plastic raw. Pulo lang ra ka pisos. Kaya nagmalmahal na ito. Malmahalan ka ba ang mga kamuti. Daura ka man tibulaan. Badlay man bahimuon. Si Pablara, mabakal ko kumuti, mga likaw pa. Daroon mo pa, bagat. Tapos pag-abot niya, mabalikaw kadahon pagid. Upakan, digidun. Kag imi-iyon pagid. Stay mo, ibalad. Hindi ka makaraha nga ikaw na saramam. Ti bata na, magbigya ko gani ka piking nga ram. Ano tanaraman? Ba't nari trawi lang ay. Trawi bla, trawan na ni nanamitan sa nagabakal. Ay, uli, midara ko nga piking. Ay, ura ko karaha, ura ko tiga. Amo ko riyan. Ti, kundi nga, namit daad ba? Sa sunod ay, pagbalik mo, maraha, pag ikaw magdara dyan.
Di mo ray raman, dararaman ako. Ano ko daw, brown na mo, ma'am.
When an order comes in, Nanay Yoli fries the dried Peking in hot oil until it turns crisp and golden. She then pours a mixture of muscovado sugar and coconut milk over the top before serving.
Ipatuloy ko ang aking pag-imo kapiking. Basta nga, ano lang gid ako nga pasik pa man ako eh. Di, ay alang-alang timo mag-imo. Pero ako daw hindi timo kato, no? Mintras nga may lawas. Sige yun ang Peking.
Like many traditional dishes in Antique, Peking continues to be made through patience and persistence. As long as there are people willing to do the work, recipes like these will continue to be shared from one generation to the next. Across the province, cooks like Nanay Maymay, Nanay Alita, and Nanay Yoli continue preparing the dishes they learned from those before them, gathering ingredients from rivers, gardens, and backyards, and turning them into meals for their families and communities. And in kitchens throughout the province, these traditions remain alive, quietly shaping the everyday food and stories of Antique.